Today I'm going to talk about adaptation, accommodation and modification for pre-academic curriculum. Yes, but that means before academics, before reading, before writing, before arithmetic. That is a concept called pre-arithmetic, pre-reading, pre-writing. Okay, so before we move towards the adaptation, accommodation and modification of all these three pre-R's, first of all we need to understand how to identify and what are the identification, what are the skills required to go to the school. Prerequisite skills, see, there may be a limitation. Prerequisite or readiness skills may have a limitation, which may be a physical or behavior, which will stop the learning. So it might be a behavior problem where the learning is getting hindrance, where the learning is getting disturbed, okay, or a physical. So it can be anything. Okay, so readiness skill develop with appropriate training. You need to remember that is your readiness, appropriate training. We will understand there are some prerequisite and readiness skills which is required at the pre-academic curriculum. Before the child move towards the pre-academic, we should have such prerequisite or readiness skills understanding, like need to sit in the classroom for a required period of time. So you need to check whether the child is able to sit. That is first criteria. That is a basic criteria, basic foundation, where if you send the child, he must obey it, he must follow that. They need to pay attention on the instructions or activity, can turn the page of the book, whether he is able to turn the page of the book or not. That assess the fine motor skills of the child. Can hold the pencil appropriately, has eye-hand coordination, whatever the activity the teacher has given, has eye tracking from left to the right direction, which is very, very important prerequisite skills or readiness skills in the child during those period. So can identify the picture, words, top, bottom, that all skills is required if the child wants to go school and learn a pre-academic curriculum. Can maintain the eye contact, that means eye hand coordination, that means eye contact from teacher to the student or student to student is very important, because child will be more visual learner during that period. Okay, can follow the simple instructions. Yes, simple instructions, because children with intellectual disability may have such limitation. So at least if they follow a simple instructions, that will help them to learn pre-academic curriculum very well. Okay, and then can identify a sound, words, like simple and also a simple sentences, the letters sound, which is very, very important during before pre-academic entry. So this is what prerequisite skills. Let's move further and understand what is pre-academic skills now. See, pre-academic curriculum is a foundation for future learning or further learning of the children. It can be an intellectual disability, it can be any developmental disability also. So that is very, very important cognitive development. That is very important part of cognitive development, where the child must receive, where the child must have developed. So what happens? Better the chance when there is a cognitive developed better. Okay, when there is a better cognitive development, there is a better chance in succeeding at the later stage. So pre-academic is equal to cognitive is equal to better chance. So that's why the pre-academic, the foundation skills is taught very in accuracy during that stage, so that the child can move further without any hindrance. So now these three PRs, that means P means pre, that means one R is your reading, writing and mathematics, which is very, very important to understand this. This is your pre-academic skills. We are going to discuss these three pre-academic skills. Okay, first one is your pre-reading skills. See here, the child at least identify the picture from the book, fruits, vehicles, or any food item in the environment. So what the child can at least understand, that is very important in the pre-academics, that means in the pre-reading. You know the what do you say, steps of reading. First you have a matching, then you have identification, then you have a naming. That will increase slowly, okay, slowly, one by one. So here in the pre-reading, the child must identify. That is the main criteria of a reading during the pre-reading skills. In pre-writing, skills include like scribbling, pegboard activities, tracing, joining the dots, copying horizontal, vertical line, drawing. These are all pre-writing activities which is included in pre-academic curriculum. Okay, we are going to see how to adapt all those things, but before this let us understand last one, pre-mathematics. Skill like few and many, empty and full, counting the objects, identifying the numbers, meaningful counting. This is all your pre-mathematics skills in pre-academic curriculum. Now see, now you know what is this three PRs. Now these three PRs, what happened? How we are going to adapt this? See, for the children with intellectual disability, 100% we need to adapt. Then only they will be succeeding in their curriculum or in their activities, whichever you deal with it. So how to do the adaptation? Let us see the adaptation, accommodation and modification in pre-reading skills. See, pre-reading skills require attention, perception, conceptualization, language and communication, which is very important if the child wants to learn. So if you want your child to achieve this, then you need to plan. You need to plan the things very accurately. Then only the child will be succeeding whatever you have taken as a target, whatever the child wants to learn at that particular stage. So you need to follow certain step. What you're going to follow that? At the first stage, object to object matching. That means if it is a, let us say, a bottle, so bottle to bottle matching. Concrete, one bottle, that is matching, okay, will be given. That is the first step. And slowly then you're going to transfer object and picture. You're going to keep a object, a bottle, and then a flashcard of the bottle, and then you're going to remove the concrete, only picture to picture matching, and then picture will be there and the word you're going to introduce, and then later word matching will be introduced, only word to word. This is a simple procedure to teach a reading or introducing a pre-reading activities. Okay, so this kind of modification, adaptation, you need to do it. Now textbook adaptation. Now textbook adaptation, accommodation and modification, how you can do? See here, as I have explained you, children with short attention span may feel very difficult in reading. Okay, so what you can do, directly from the textbook, okay, a textbook, if the teacher prepares the worksheet which has the large color pictures in one page or a flashcard with Velcro, will make the children for active participation and increase the visual attention, which is very important. So what you can do, from the textbook only, you take the pictures, you take the text, you try to you adapt, like put a Velcro tape back of the flashcard and you match with the picture, or picture to word or word to word. In that way we can teach the child in a better way for children with intellectual disability, because we are talking about the adaptation for children with intellectual disability. So picture may be shown in computer. By reading from back will also make the child to participate. So you can use a computer for adaptation, you can use a Velcro for adaptation, you can use a book for the adaptation. So it's up to you how you're going to make it. Okay, this is how actually it means. So one more thing you need to remember, for example, instead of using a picture card for reading or identifying, model and project will work better for teaching pre-reading skills. So this is how you do the adaptation. It's very simple. You need to think little different, you need to think little critically, so that you can make a unique adaptation as per the curriculum, as per the need of the child. So let the child match or fix the Velcro by naming picture which facilitate the activity method. Okay, so with the help of that, what you're going to do, you're going to make the child learn in a better way. You can use a big size floor mat, where you have a big pictures, and it can be a picture, numbers will create interest among the children, so that they will participate without any confusion, without any frustration. Nowadays you are getting a big huge mat with alphabets written in it, right, and even the numbers. So you can ask the child to walk on it, or you can ask the child to see, read. So that kind of adaptation you can do. And present a vowel or consonant sound by printing a big letter, okay, on a thick chart or card. You should always prepare the whatever the flashcard you prepare, make sure it is big, clearly visible, and durable, which is very important. For example, let us say N sound, okay, N. Then present another card having O sound, okay, and then join the card and then pronounce no. So one card will be N, another card will be O. So when you join together, it becomes no. So this is how you're going to pronounce. So that is called your phonetic approach. This is how you're going to teach the phonetic vowel sound. You see on the board, okay, on the board what happened, once you write, you erase it. The child may not able to visualize properly because you have erased it, it was very quick. Whereas in the flashcard, you will keep on the table, it will be there, the child will be visualizing, child will be feeling it, then it will go into the brain and then it will get fixed. Okay, so that kind of adaptation too, we can do it in that way. Then hiding a small models in the in the sand tray, and then picking out by the name. This is very fun, and it is like it gives interest in the making a sound. For example, you can take a big tray, in that you get a plastic alphabets, the numbers, and then you can make the child, you hide it and make the child to remove from that one by one and pronounce the sound. If it is A, if it is B, B. So how it goes, it's just like fun activity. Then run the finger under the word to identify the left, right, space, top, bottom. This is all how you can make the child learn in a better way. So you need to, anyways, I will do this one by one activities in a shorter way, so that you can understand this. Okay, this is how we need to adapt the material, and understand how you can teach the child in a proper way. This is how you're going to do it. Then you can also practice the rhyming words, which help the children to identify the similar sound, which is very important. Okay, now let us see in pre-writing skills, adaptation, accommodation and modification in pre-writing skills. See, in order to provide a modification in writing, what you have to do, first need to understand the difficulty of the student. Until unless you understand the difficulty of students, you cannot do the modification. That is the first criteria, whether it is reading, writing or mathematics. So student based difficulties you need to identify. So what are those? The child may have a fine motor dysfunctions, that means a difficulty or problem. They may have a problem in the visual acuity, or they want glasses, spectacles, or child may not able to grasp the pencil correctly. So these are all the problem in writing skills where the child face. So for this you need to do adaptation. For writing you can use a you can adapt in a hand to hold the pencil and make the child to write. So that kind of things also can be done. And the children may have no interest in writing, so not willing to write. So that is the main your difficulty. So for this, how you're going to do? So children training should begin with indirect preparation for writing. Okay, make sure that you motivate the child. Okay, that is important. So to develop a fine motor skills and to manipulation of, no, what you have to do, you need to do the manipulation of small objects which are, good things like, palm printing, finger printing, and there are a lot of other printing with lady fingers, with the potato. There are a lot of other activities where you can develop the fine motor skills of the child. You need to manipulate the small objects, which is very good. Tracing in a sand with the finger, that also, it's a very good exercise where it help the child to improve the fine motor activities. Using a paintbrush in a computer, that is also where the child will be using the mouse to manipulate it. Then folding a paper, cutting, scissor, clay modeling, pasting, picture, these are all activities helps to develop the fine motor skills, because writing is requires a three finger tripod grasp. So for this you require a fine motor skills. So for that you need to improve. So how are you going to improve the fine motor? By doing all these activities. Then copying a letter with a given big box on the white sheet, rather giving the small one, because that's very very difficult to identify, and again the child will be not comfortable to write it, and even not comfortable to identify it. Then let us see adaptation, accommodation, modification in pre-mathematics. Now what is pre-mathematics? See, as you know, pre-mathematics means the basic concept like counting, meaningful counting, identification of number. So that is your skills which you need to understand before you adapt the pre-mathematics skills. So practice and review with the board games or instructional softwares are an effective way to develop this conceptual readiness for students with mathematical disabilities or difficulties. So what you have to do, manipulative, such as blocks, big that is called your Cuisenaire rods. You will have a pegboard rod kind of things where you will manipulate to count the numbers and fix the things. Okay, and allow the student with maths disability to visualize the numerical, because they are great. If they see, then they remember the things very easily, rather just saying verbally. So place one block on another, arrange the block. There are a lot of other activities which you can do it with this, like you can use blocks for the counting, you can use the waste products also for the counting. There are a lot of other ways, play materials, which you can adapt for the particular skills. See, as you know, readiness skill is important to teach arithmetic skills. It's a fact, it's a known fact. Okay, so according to Smith in 1974, he has said that students should have an adequate language for understanding arithmetic language, because mathematics has its own language, its own symbol, right? So child must have the skills. And how far the student is achieved the arithmetic skills in a logical sequences, that is also very, very important. These two criteria he has said if the child wants to learn a mathematics. Okay, now also according to Piaget's development theory, the student requires to understand the basic concepts such as a classification before he proceeds to learn counting. That's absolutely right. So the sequence of teaching mathematics has certain steps which we need to follow. Classification is the first one, where you're going to do the classification. For example, the color, shape, fruit, animal. You're going to group the object. So in color you may have different colors, in a shape you have a different shape, likely in a fruit, in an animal. Okay, then next one is ordering by size. Okay, that is very important, and number. So classification, ordering, and then one-to-one correspondence. Okay, so this ability, correspondence ability, the child must has to relate, within the group. So unit in one group to unit in another group, so he has to relate with such things. Okay. And then conversation and reversibility. Conversation refers that student ability to recognize the object, okay, in a set, which remains irrespective of their spatial arrangement. It can be any arrangement, but he has to identify or he has to recognize that particular object. Okay. Then reversibility means ability to recognize the object when changed. One is changed, another is non-changed. Okay. So that is conversation and reversibility concept. So these four steps, as per the Piaget's theory, we need to follow if we want to learn a mathematics skill, or if we want to teach the child to learn a mathematics skills. Okay. So hope you have understood. If you have any doubt, just let me know. So till then, see ya.